Welcome back to Relax RV. Hi, my name is Paul. I'm doing a podcast on stress while RVing. And I know none of you have ever experienced anything stressful while RVing. Well, perhaps a little bit. Now, stress means different things to different people, and what stresses one person out may just make another person laugh. And for that, I'm jealous. So let's talk about stress and RVing. Welcome back, everybody. This is Season 2, Episode 64 of Relax RV. Paul Sebastian, registered nurse. So there. This is being released on June 8th, 2021. And we just got back from a trip. We did our first ever campground stay with friends. We've been RVing for over 3 years now. And this is the first time that we met friends at a campground and did that. So we stayed over in J&D Campground near Knoebels or Knoebels Amusement Park in Pennsylvania. Next to us, next site over, was our friends Scott and Amy. And next to them was Mike and Shelley. And on the other side of the campground was Scott's parents, Jack and Jan, in their seasonal site. So we were there for Memorial Day weekend. It was, prior to going there, it was in the mid-80s and humid. Memorial Day weekend. Apparently the whole East Coast here in the U.S. Was cold and rainy. It rained just about the whole weekend. Very cold the whole weekend. So, it wasn't quite what we expected for or hoped for a weekend camping with friends. But it all turned out well. We were able to do a fire both nights in between the rain. And we did a bingo game, which me and Trish haven't done we've never done together. And the last one I ever did was about 40 years ago or so, which is fun. When we pulled into the campground, we were fighting with the rig, our 2017 Thor 29.4, trying to get it level. So this rig we find to be a little bit more troublesome leveling than our other rig, our previous one. So I just assumed it was because of the longer length. But apparently, when we were trying to get it level, it was way off of level. So we took out the level app, and voila, the LCI leveling system. It has a 0-point level calibration, and it was way off. So I don't know if it was ever calibrated, or was it calibrated to be level and somebody changed the calibration along the way? I don't really know. So I went into the Thor owner's portal. I pulled up our rig's VIN number, and there were 7 manuals for the leveling system. None of them were for our particular leveling system. It's unbelievable. Thank you, Thor. So, looking at our keypad, I Googled images of LCI leveling system keypads. I found ours. I found a link from there on how to zero calibrate it. So basically, you push a series of buttons on the keypad. Well, prior to that, you get it to where you want level to be. So we took out the level and leveled it front and back, right and left. Then on the keypad, you push a series of buttons, everything starts flashing, and then you press another series of buttons, and then that remembers, that has the memory. It stores into memory where level is, and that was it. It took like 3 minutes, and unbelievable. So, for the rest of this trip, anytime we pulled in, leveled it super easily. So if you find yourself fighting with yours, perhaps your rig is like ours. It just needs to be recalibrated. So the first evening, we sat with our friends in their Prevo. Big bus, gorgeous. And we caught up with them on all the day-to-day stuff. The next day, again, rainy and cold, so me and Trish took a ride over to Centralia, Pennsylvania. We visited it a little over a year ago. So a little over a year ago, right after we went to Centralia in 2020, we had met Scott and Amy. We stayed at their house via Boondocker's Welcome. And they hosted us, and we've become good friends since that visit. So we decided we were so close, we took a ride over to Centralia again. There's an old abandoned town that was evacuated years ago to an underground fire. It's pretty wild. So then we visited a town called Shamokin, Pennsylvania. Shamokin. Shamokin. We enjoyed Shamokin. We found a winery there in town. We found they were having a street fair, so we walked around there. Then we walked for about an hour in the light rain and the cold, just walking the town in different neighborhoods. Nice town. We went back to the campground, and that's when we played bingo. Then we did a fire. The next night, we had Googled, and there's a place called the Lost Mind, Mined, in Shamokin. Phenomenal food. Oh my God. And I had a guy with a guitar playing, so we had dinner and enjoyed the music there. Really nice. So Monday, Memorial Day, the weather started clearing out. It started warming up. And that's when we packed up and we headed down to Prince William Forest in Virginia. So, according to Google Maps, it was 3 hours and 45 minutes away. Now, we always know that with driving the RV, it always takes us longer than what Google will say. Or the Garmin. We have a Garmin GPS, and we plug in our weight and length and all that. It has us avoid different bridges, tunnels, stuff like that. So our GPS is typically longer than Google Maps, and we were driving right past Washington, D.C. on Memorial Day. So this 3 hour and 45-minute drive was closer to 5 hours. Now, I limit our driving, or my driving, to 4 hours with the rig. This rig is so much easier to drive than our 2014 Thor Ace, and but still we're going to limit it to 4 hours. So what that means for us is when 4 hours hits, we don't just stop. We don't plan to drive any more than 4, and if it takes longer with traffic and such, so be it. So it was almost 5 hours, and we had stayed at this campground before. It's a privately owned campground right next to the Prince Edward National Forest. And it's down in Dumfries, Virginia. It's like a half hour to Trish's son, so it's pretty convenient. So that's our go-to place when we're visiting him. So we checked in, we had a nice low-key evening. The next day, we headed over to the forest and we hiked for 12 miles. It was really nice to get out and do a nice long hike. It was way overdue. I'm back. Didn't want to expose you guys to my coughing fit. So this park is really it's a beautiful park. Lots of easy hiking trails that follow a lot of streams, over bridges, waterfalls. Really, really nice. So the next day, Trish had lunch with her son, and then me and Trish afterwards, we headed over to Old Town, Virginia to do shopping. Now, years ago, we went to Old Town, and it was probably 8 years ago or so. We went there for the first time, and it was nice. You know, we were on vacation, and Trish's son had just graduated from the police academy. So we enjoyed, shopping and all that. Now, going back year after year when we visit, with him, we find the town to be very focused on food. So a lot of good restaurants, and the town is very expensive. So we're doing less and less shopping. So I think the next time we go down to visit, we're going to be finding a different area to spend a day. So if you have any suggestions around Old Town, Alexandria, Virginia, D.C., you have any suggestions for us of things to see, let us know. My email, relaxrv@hotmail.com. So the next day, which was Thursday, we drove north to Dove Valley Winery in Rising Sun, Maryland. We arrived at the winery, we did a wine tasting, and then we bought a bottle of wine. And they are part of Harvest Host, so it was really nice to sleep on their property in the rig. A heavy thunderstorm rolled through that evening, so it was nice just to sit and enjoy a nice glass of wine and sleep there. The next morning, we're planning on going to stay at a